Tomorrow morning, counsel for Mr. Robert Kelly is scheduled to appear in court over the indictments that we brought forth nearly 4 years ago, charging him with 10 counts of aggravated criminal sexual abuse involving 4 victims. I'm here to inform you that the Cook County State's Attorney's Office will no longer be pursuing these indictments.
What's poppin'? It's your boy Zillionaire. Welcome to the motherfreaking show. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, all that other motherfreaking good stuff. Now, your boy R. Kelly has the charges dropped in Chicago. Yes, they have dropped the charges in Chicago, but he still faces plenty other charges. That's the only thing. Now, will he get more charges dropped? We don't know, but the DA, the state attorney for Chicago, says she's no longer pursuing any more charges against R. Kelly. Let's kind of listen to what she has to say. She'll break it down or whatever the case may be. So let's listen to this, and I'm your boy Zillionaire. Let me know what y'all think. Do you think he's going to get more charges dropped or not? Do you think that he's, that somehow in this case he'll only get a few years instead of decades in prison? We don't know. But for right now, a lot of R. Kelly fans are glad that he got some charges dropped. But let's listen to her.
Tomorrow morning, counsel for Mr. Robert Kelly is scheduled to appear in court over the indictments that we brought forth nearly 4 years ago, charging him with 10 counts of aggravated criminal sexual abuse involving 4 victims. I'm here to inform you that the Cook County State's Attorney's Office will no longer be pursuing these indictments. Back in 2019, I stood in this very room and asked for anyone who was a victim or witness to crimes allegedly perpetrated by Mr. Kelly to come forward. Since that time, we'd set up a hotline to allow for victims and witnesses, both locally and nationally, to contact our office with any information that they received. In the course of the several weeks after that plea for survivors to come forward, we received hundreds of tips and pieces of evidence that spread far and wide throughout the country. My team of assistant state's attorneys and victim witnesses who are here today, and I will introduce them momentarily, worked tirelessly to run down the accusations that were being made, to determine whether the information was being provided was credible. In the course of that time, we received evidence, physical evidence, including a tape of child pornography involving Mr. Kelly that was subsequently used in his federal trial here in Chicago. Our victim witness staff and assistant state's attorneys traveled throughout the United States, meeting with survivors in their homes and talking with them, many of whom had lost faith in the criminal legal system, that their stories would be heard. As a result of that, we filed our charges on February 22nd, 2019. And subsequently, charges were filed in the Eastern District of New York, in federal court, as well as the Northern District of Illinois. Since that time, Mr. Kelly was convicted in 2021 of 9 counts of racketeering predicated on criminal conduct, including the sexual exploitation of children, forced labor, and violations involving the coercion and transportation of women and girls in interstate commerce to engage in illegal sexual activity by a federal grand jury in Brooklyn, New York. That court sentenced Mr. Kelly to 30 years in prison on June 29th, 2022. As you all are aware, here in Illinois, the Illinois Federal Court in September of 2022, the jury found Mr. Kelly guilty on 3 counts of child pornography and 3 counts of child enticement. Sentencing has not yet been rendered in that case. However, Mr. Kelly faces a minimum of 10 to 90 years in prison in the Illinois Federal Court. I want to reiterate our office's support of the investigations that led to the charges and convictions, both in the Eastern District of New York and the Northern District of Illinois. It is to that end that due to the extensive sentences that these convictions hold, our office has decided not to continue to expend our limited resources in court time with the indictments that we previously charged Mr. Kelly. I want to first and foremost thank the survivors that came forward and shared their stories. I know firsthand how difficult it is for you to tell your stories. 4 years ago, I stood at this podium and shared my story of having been a survivor and my full understanding of what it means to have to go before strangers to discuss what is arguably one of the most horrific experiences one could have. And these women, all of them black, came forward believing that they would be heard. As a survivor, I know that the courage that it took for them to come forward, and I know that for those who were seeking to have their day in court here in Illinois, that today's announcement may be disappointing. But I want to acknowledge that when we brought these charges forward, we brought them because we believed the allegations to be credible, and we believed that they deserved to have the opportunity to have the allegations heard. These women, both those who were named in our indictments and the women in New York and the Northern District of Illinois, are to be commended for their bravery and their relentless pursuit of justice, no matter how long it took. I also want to point out that the women who stand with me today, Tanae McCoy Cummings, Stephanie Coelho, Jackie Griffin, Ann McCourt Rogers, and Krista Peterson, who is not with us, work in our sexual assault and domestic violence division. Every day, these women come in contact with survivors and victims of sexual abuse and sexual assault whose cases don't make the headlines. Their abusers, or those for whom they accuse, are not Grammy Award-winning artists. Sometimes they're teachers, deacons, folks that they know from the neighborhood. And the attention that this case garnered, the reason that it was so significant for this office is not simply because Mr. Kelly was a man of celebrity, but because of the victims and survivors that we see each and every day in this office, many of whom are people of color, particularly Black and Latino women who do not believe that the justice system, even as victims, sees them. This office sees them. And I wanted to make sure that the announcement today and the fact that we are no longer going to continue to pursue these cases is not an indication that we don't see them. Every day, the relentless work of the people of the Cook County State's Attorney's Office and our Sexual Assault and Domestic Violence Unit sees and hears these survivors and actively work on their behalf to bring them justice. We believe in a victim-centered approach where we recognize the needs of our survivors and recognize that sometimes justice is served even when there is no conviction. I want to personally thank my team for their efforts throughout the past 4 years, for their collaboration with our colleagues throughout the country, and for their tireless pursuit